What's your darkest family moment that no one talks about anymore? When I was 12, my family went on our annual camping trip to the lake. It was supposed to be a week of fishing, swimming, and bonding. Instead, it became the week that tore our family apart forever. My dad had been acting strange for months, coming home late, being secretive with his phone, snapping at my mom over little things. Mom kept making excuses for him, saying work was stressful, but I could see the worry in her eyes. On the third night of camping, I woke up around midnight needing to use the bathroom. Our campsite was near the lake, and I had to walk past my parents' tent to get to the facilities. That's when I heard them arguing in hushed, angry voices. I can't keep lying to the kids, my mom was whispering. They deserve to know what's happening. Know what? That their father is a complete failure? Dad's voice was bitter. That I lost everything? That we're about to lose the house? I froze outside their tent. Lost everything? Lose the house? My stomach dropped as I listened to them fight about something I didn't understand. The gambling has to stop, Mike. You promised me it would stop after the first loan. Mom's voice was breaking. We have nothing left. I emptied my college fund to pay the electric bill last month. That's when the pieces clicked together. Dad's late nights weren't work meetings. The secretive phone calls weren't business. He'd been gambling away our family's future, and my mom had been covering for him this entire time. The kids don't need to know, Dad insisted. I can fix this. I just need one more good night, one more win to get us back on track. With what money? We don't even have enough left for groceries next week. Mom was crying now. I already called my sister. We might have to move in with her after we lose the house. I stood there in the darkness, learning that my entire life was falling apart. Everything I thought I knew about my family was a lie. We weren't going on vacation. We were probably saying goodbye to the only life I'd ever known. The next morning, my parents acted like nothing had happened. Dad made pancakes and joked around like usual. Mom smiled and took pictures of us by the lake. But I couldn't stop staring at them, knowing what I knew. My little brother was excited about catching his first fish. My parents cheered and took photos, but all I could think about was how we might be homeless by Christmas. How was I supposed to pretend everything was normal when our world was crashing down? That afternoon, Dad disappeared for hours. He said he was going to town for supplies, but I knew better. Mom sat by the lake, staring at the water with this empty look I'd never seen before. When I asked if she was okay, she forced a smile and said she was just enjoying the peaceful view. Dad came back that evening, and I could tell immediately something was wrong. His hands were shaking, and he couldn't look anyone in the eye. Mom pulled him aside, and I heard her whisper, "How much?" His answer made her physically stumble backward. Everything. I lost everything we had left. That night was the darkest of my life. I lay in my sleeping bag, listening to my mother sob quietly in their tent, while my dad paced around the campsite until dawn. My brother slept peacefully next to me, completely unaware that our family was disintegrating around us. We packed up and left the next morning, 2 days early. Dad said there was a family emergency, but my brother and I knew something was wrong. The drive home was silent except for the radio playing cheerful songs that felt like mockery. 3 weeks later, the foreclosure notice appeared on our door. That's when my parents finally told us the truth, or at least part of it. They said Dad had made some bad business decisions and we needed to downsize. We moved in with my aunt in a different state. Dad disappeared for months, supposedly looking for work. When he finally came back, he was different, quiet, ashamed, broken. We never talked about what really happened during those months. My parents stayed together, but their marriage never recovered. They divorced when I was 18, and neither of them ever mentioned that camping trip or the gambling addiction that destroyed our family. 20 years later, my brother still doesn't know the full truth about why we lost our house. My parents have never acknowledged what happened, and we've all just pretended that dark chapter of our lives never existed. But I remember everything. I remember the sound of my mother crying in that tent. I remember the look on my father's face when he realized he'd gambled away his children's future. And I remember learning that sometimes the people you trust most are capable of destroying everything you love.